let's be honest. Everyone lies. If you don't say that, you're lying to yourself right now. Honesty has a significant impact on any business and business relationship. And joining this morning to have an open and honest conversation on this National Honesty Day about being honest is Mr. Honesty himself, Stephen Gaffney. I don't think I've ever said the word honest so many times in one sentence.
Right?
But,
you're being honest.
And I'm being honest about that. How does one become Mr. Honesty?
Well, actually, I discovered that was the biggest problem at work and at home. And the big problem isn't what people say. It's actually what they don't say. You know, lies of withholding. Have you ever had somebody not tell you something and it made you have, it had you do an entirely different decision, and then you think, that person lied to me, because if they had just told me the truth, I could have fixed it. Or how about this? Have you ever had a friend that was upset with you, but they don't tell you, they tell everybody else?
Oh, yeah.
Or you're at the station, somebody's upset with you, but they don't say to you, they tell everybody else.
That would
you're
never
like,
happen.
What are you talking about?
And we'll be writing a book about it.
Yeah.
So the big problem isn't what people say, it's actually what they don't say. So the best companies and the best people...
Because then they don't feel like they're lying. They're like, if I don't tell you, then I'm not lying. It's not a lie.
But is that lying, though, if you're, you said withholding is the truth? Yeah, it is.
Lies of withholding is the #1 problem at work and at home. Think about this, even in your home life, and I don't know your home life. But the idea is that somebody gets upset with us and they don't tell us, but you can't fix a problem that nobody tells you, and you can't use an idea that nobody tells you. So let's say somebody has a great idea for the show, but they don't tell you because they think, well, you might be uncomfortable with this. You can't use that idea unless they tell you. So the key is to get that unsaid said, and the best companies realize that that's an inherent problem. But the good news is we can fix it.
Right. Now, we can get back to the companies, but you brought up in home.
Yeah.
So is it okay to lie if it's a lie to protect someone? So say, for example, if my wife comes home with some clothes that I don't necessarily like, and I think that they're ugly, but I want to preserve the peace, I say, she asked me how they look. Well, now she knows. But if she wants to know what I think, and I think that they're ugly, but...
Maybe it's how you say it.
Is that what it is? I mean, what do I do?
People often say that, but here's my question. Here's my challenge. How often do you tell your wife how great she looks and how beautiful she looks? You know what? People also withhold their compliments. I have found that people can hear really tough stuff as long as you say the good stuff. Have you ever had somebody who the only thing that ever comes out of their mouth is something that's negative, and they say, listen, I'm just trying to help you. Just call it the way I see it. And you're like, you know, that's not the problem. The problem is you never say anything nice. So the interesting thing is, people in our life can really hear the truth as long as it's the whole truth, the total truth, which includes appreciation. And we are so stingy with appreciation.
Does it help if you have unpleasant things to say to kind of soften it up with the truth first and maybe like throw that compliment out there? But let's address this issue.
Well, that's, you know, it was taught for years, the sandwich method. Listen, I really appreciate what you're saying, but what I really want to tell you is this. And thank you for telling me, or thank you for having the conversation. The problem is the sandwich method is manipulative. Have you ever had somebody lead with an appreciation and you're like, uh-oh.
What's coming?
Exactly. You did a great job on that show and you're just waiting for the but it's like, you know what? Tell me the tough stuff first. That's what I coach people. And then end with a good note. So instead of doing the sandwich method, get the difficult part out front and then say the good stuff. And make sure you frequently say the good stuff and don't connect it to all the time. It's also be separate about it.
I feel like you're talking about big issues, which that's all great advice. But if someone gives you a Christmas gift that you don't love, I mean, are you really going to be honest about that? Or are you just going to be, thank you so much for thinking of me. That was really nice. And then when they leave, you go, I'm never wearing it. You know what I mean? I mean, are there times when it's okay to just kind of let it ride?
Well, here's the thing. There's exceptions to every rule, but you don't run your life by the exceptions. You run your life by the rules of life. What I have found is people will pick apart and they'll say, but what about this? What about this? And these are good questions. But the bigger question we have to ask ourselves is how often are we really telling the truth? Because, you know, have you ever had somebody say to you, well, I didn't tell you this because I didn't want to hurt your feelings. But the truth is they didn't want to be with their own uncomfortability. They didn't want to be uncomfortable. So they were using this as an excuse as, well, I don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. In fact, the #1 reason why people don't speak the truth is because they're afraid. So the key is to make people feel safe.
I felt like you just said to me, that was a good question, but this is what you really should have
asked. You guys are doing great, but listen, we only have a few seconds left up, but you're being honest about all this, right?
No, now the truth comes out. Honesty, now it's dishonesty.
No, we certainly appreciate We appreciate all your tweets today, too. Stephen Gaffney, thanks for being with us. A number of books you'll find online, Amazon, etc. You can pick them up there.
Yeah, there they are right here.
Thank you,
all of them right there.
And you enjoyed being on the show?
Absolutely.
And we're all
telling the truth.
That's what we wanted to hear. Thank you so much. Make sure to watch at 5 o'clock for updates on all of today's stories. We'll see you back here bright.